Trump's speech at the UNGA went viral on social media for all the wrong reasons. It was full of false claims and praises about his own administration. At one point, he even says that the immigration policies in Europe, all their countries are going to quote-unquote hell. He also said that his administration brokered a ceasefire deal between India and Pakistan, which New Delhi has in the past several times denied, saying that there was no third-party mediation. He also called India and China the major funders of the Russia-Ukraine war. He accused New Delhi and China of buying high amounts of Russian oil, calling these purchases the engine feeding Putin's war machine in the past too. Meanwhile, his team is giving mixed reactions. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, says that there is a lot of progress in the talks between India and the US. Christopher Wright, US Secretary of Energy, says that he is a fan of India, but said that India can buy oil from any nation on earth, just not Russia. He said this, listen in.
I'm a huge fan of India. We love India. We look forward to more energy trade, more interactions back and forth with India. And then India is caught up in the middle of another issue. President Trump's greatest passion is peace in the world. He is, when I talk to him, it does not matter what the topic is, peace comes up. How can we use our tools and leverage to drive peace? And the Russian war in Ukraine, of course, is brutal. We all want to see it come to an end. But where does Russian oil today that's sanctioned go? It goes to China, India, and it goes to Turkey. And so that helps Russia fund that war. And that's the friction. The friction's on that issue. We want to bring that war to the end. I believe the Indians want to bring that war to an end, and we want to expand our energy cooperation with India in natural gas, in coal, in nuclear, in clean cooking fuels, liquid petroleum gas. India's been a star in that area. So we want nothing more than more trade, energy cooperation with India.
Now let's understand the economics a little. Firstly, India buys Russian oil because it's cheaper and helps safeguarding its national security and keeps global energy prices stable. Union Minister Piyush Goyal recently in a statement has also said that India is a large importer of energy and its energy security goals will have a very high element of US involvement in years to come. Secondly, India is doing nothing illegal. It buys from Russia at the cap that G7 has imposed. Russian oil is not completely banned. Third, Russia is not the sole supplier of oil to India. The US contributed 5% to India's 2025 financial year oil imports. Fourth, India is in fact increasing purchase of crude oil from the US. India is buying a lot of crude oil from the United States in 2025. Between January to June, imports rose by 51%, going up from 0.18 million barrels per day to 0.271 million barrels per day. The increase was even sharper in the April to June quarter, when the imports were 114% higher than the same period last year. In terms of value, India spent $3.7 billion on US crude in the first quarter of FY26, almost the double of $1.73 billion that it spent in the same quarter last year. By July 2025, US made up to 8% of India's total oil imports compared to just 3% earlier. Between June and July, imports from the US grew by 23%. So now why is India not wanting to buy a lot of US oil and stop Russian oil purchase? Well, oil plays an important role in keeping the inflation in check. During global instability, high inflation is the last thing a country wants. India has told US that significant reduction in Russian oil imports by Indian refiners hinges on Washington's willingness to allow crude purchases from sanctioned suppliers like Iran and Venezuela. Because US oil is much more expensive than the Russian oil, it is not buying more US oil. As of 2025, Russian Ural crude was offered to India at discount around $3 to $4 per barrel below Brent crude prices, whereas US crude was bought by Indian refiners trading at $3 premium to Brent. And it's clear why US wants India to stop buying Russian oil, or even EU to stop buying Russian oil or gas for that matter. matter. It wants them to buy it from the US. The United States is the world's largest producer of crude oil. In August 2024, it hit a record output of 13.4 million barrels per day, with the yearly average for 2024 expected to be about 13.2 million barrels per day. If we include the crude oil, natural gas, liquids and biofuels, total US petroleum production in 2023 was around 21.7 million barrels per day. Trump has imposed a 25% penalty on India for buying Russian oil, which India says is unjustified, and Russia too says that US is doing all of this to pressure other countries to buy oil from them only. Meanwhile, there is oil shortage in Russia too. The country has banned export of fuel and natural gas, which will impact Europe heavily. Russia is also the world's largest diesel producer, making the situation even worse for many countries. While this does not directly impact India, some experts say that crude prices may surge due to this, meaning lower discounts for India. India is closely watching the situation, and as said earlier, any decision to reduce imports from Russia will be taken in consideration with India's national interest.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now. If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.